Good Saturday afternoon, everyone. We're going to go over the rest of this weekend into early next week. As we've still got some storminess around, there's going to be more storms even through parts of the southern plains, through Oklahoma into Texas, and then spreading east possibly. There'll be some pop-up storms across the southeast as well for the rest of the weekend, but we'll go over that shortly as well. We're going to go over the hurricane forecast as well. We had this out for supporters on Facebook in middle of March. We're going to share that with you today, though. But first, click that thumbs up button, that like button, share this with your friends and family, and comment where you're from. That'd be great to hear from you. All right, let's get started here. All right, let's take a look at the current satellite picture here. As you can see, there's a boundary across the Gulf Coast. You can see it right through here, starting to progress a little bit north. And then you have storms developing along that. So there's a lot of heavy rain, and there's severe weather down there today across parts of southeastern parts of Texas into Louisiana. And then some storminess right around just north of northeastern Texas. And then here's that low pressure that came through parts of Arkansas yesterday, delivered up to 5, 6, 7 inches of rain in some localized spots. I know in parts of Little Rock, there was a lot of flooding yesterday. I think they had almost 5.5 inches there locally at Little Rock. But this storm going up into parts of Illinois today with a lot of cloudiness, storminess, and showers around as well. And then here comes the next system out of the Rockies here, going to be heading towards the central and southern plains here in the next day or two across the area. It's going to produce more storms across Oklahoma into Texas, into Kansas possibly. So let's take a look at the current conditions across the area. All right, here's the current conditions. As you can see out west, here comes that high pressure that's building in. Got heat advisories, excessive heat watches down through here, through parts of California into Las Vegas, into the deserts of California. Severe thunderstorm watch out for eastern parts of Colorado, northeastern parts of New Mexico, and parts of the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles here. And then severe thunderstorm watch down here in parts of Louisiana in eastern Texas for today. All right, severe weather for the rest of today. Like I said, right along the Gulf Coast into southern Texas, West Texas, and then there's a little bullseye here of parts of the Texas, Oklahoma panhandles up towards southwestern parts of Kansas. Hail and high winds are the main threat. There could be a tornado out there, so we need to stay abreast of that. And severe weather for Sunday kind of moves up into parts of Nebraska, northern parts of Kansas. That's where the enhanced risk is there in the orange. Level 3 out of 5 for basically wind and hail, maybe some isolated tornadoes, slight risk all the way up to the Canadian border, including the Dakotas up to Minnesota. Slight risk down here in parts of Texas, West Texas, and marginal all the way down into parts of the Gulf Coast, including Louisiana. As we head into Monday, a little boundary will set up here across parts of Oklahoma into northern Arkansas, southern Missouri. Could be some marginal risk of severe weather across this area for Monday. So stay weather aware, especially in those areas for Monday, as things will change. This is the day 3 outlook, so things could change over the next few days. So stay with us. Alrighty, so let's go over future radar. This is the 18Z HRRR. And you can see the storms down here towards the Gulf Coast. And as we move forward here, you can see that where I showed you on the satellite picture, where that basically boundary is starting to come north across into central parts of Louisiana, into Texas as well. So there's going to be maybe some more isolated flooding and some severe weather down that way. Here comes another cluster of storms out of Colorado into Kansas, and then a little cluster up here towards Nebraska. And then right along the Texas-Mexico border here across southern Texas could be some storms down that way. And then those kind of fizzle out up here in Kansas as they head into Missouri tomorrow morning. Then kind of a little bit of a break. And then as we get towards the heating of the day, you see some pop-up storms here and there across southeastern parts of the United States. Then storming us up here towards Nebraska, in through southern Minnesota, and into western parts of Iowa, and maybe some bigger storms down here in parts of Texas where I highlighted that slight risk for tomorrow. And this is gonna go into a big squall line. I don't know if this may connect at some point, but as of right now, but the HRRR is showing a big cluster of storms heading right around down the Red River, where you've already had a lot of rain and flooding. So this is just going to renew the flood threat across that area. So this is into Monday morning now. See a big squall line coming into Dallas possibly by early Monday morning, and then a huge cluster of storms up here through northeastern parts of Missouri into Iowa. And then this moves east, and then more development on the backside. There may be a little meso-low kind of develop across Oklahoma, and there could be more storms behind it early on Monday morning into the afternoon as well. And then this boundary is going to basically move up towards Arkansas, southern Missouri here. So there could be some heavier rain, maybe some small hail, gusty winds up there for Monday afternoon across parts of Oklahoma into northern Arkansas and southern Missouri for Monday. All right, let's get into the tropics now. Today is the first day of hurricane season for Atlantic Basin, and we've had our tropical outlook out for about 2.5 months now. We had it out first for the supporters back in middle of March, where we're going to share that with you today. First, we're going to go over what the averages are, and then we're going to show you our forecast as we go from El Nino straight into La Nina, and possibly a strong La Nina by fall. It's going to have big implications on the tropics, especially right along into the Gulf Coast. Basically, it's going to open the door for tropical waves to traverse into the Caribbean up through the Gulf. There could be a lot more activity up that way. And once you get into the Gulf, it's basically landlocked, so it has nowhere to go. So there's going to be a lot more storms down through there and towards the southeastern coast as well. So let's get into the averages, the average hurricane season across the area, what numbers we're looking at. All right, so we're going to go over what the Colorado State University thinks, what their forecast says, what NOAA thinks, and what the averages are. So the averages on tropical storms, named storms, 14 is average. 7 hurricanes is average. 3 major hurricanes is average. Colorado State University is thinking 23 tropical storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes this season. NOAA's expecting 17 to 25 named storms, 8 to 13 hurricanes, and 4 to 7 major hurricanes. These are the latest numbers as of, I believe, a couple days ago from Colorado State University and NOAA. So, what are we expecting? What's our forecast? I think the numbers could be a little bit more than this, and I think we went a little conservative. So let's take a look at that. All right, so here is our official 2024 hurricane outlook. Like I said, it's going to be a very active season with more opportunities in the Caribbean and through the Gulf of Mexico as well. So, anywhere along the Gulf Coast over towards the eastern seaboard, you really need to think about hurricane preparations, like just, having the essentials around just in case. The good thing about hurricanes, we can see them coming from weeks away and even days, where they're going and what they're going to where they're going to impact. So um, get those those necessities in a bucket or something. Your hurricane supplies and stuff like that. That's just in case things. You can go ahead and start thinking about that, as today is, like I said, the first day of hurricane season. So this is what we're thinking here. Like I said, this was issued in mid-March in the Supporter Hub on Facebook to our supporters. 2024 Hurricane Outlook, 23 to 28 named storms. This will be tropical storms, at least. So named storms, 23 to 28. We're thinking 12 to 15 hurricanes and 6 to 8 major hurricanes, which are category 3 or higher. So this is going to be a very big year across the area. Plus, the one slide I didn't show you either was the basically the Gulf of Mexico is like bathwater right now. I think right off the west coast of Florida, it's almost 90-degree temperatures in the Gulf already. And then along the basically kind of like the tropical convergence zone out there in the Atlantic, coming off Africa, those water temperatures are already basically mid-July temperatures across that area. So it's already basically kind of bath water across those main development regions, and then up towards the Gulf even. So that's just one of the components needed for hurricanes and major hurricanes, is that warm ocean water, and we already have that. So this could be a really banner year for hurricane season, or the Atlantic Basin, across that area. In June, usually hurricane season starts off kind of slow, but as we get into August and September, that's when the peak hurricane season is. Usually there's a big ramp up early September. That's when the peak is. Then kind of dies down just a little bit. And there's a little peak in October as well. But this is what we're thinking: 23 to 28 named storms, 12 to 15 hurricanes, and 6 to 8 major hurricanes. All right. That's all we have today. Those of you in severe weather territory in the next few days, to stay weather aware. There's also going to be some flooding, renewed flooding risks across the Red River, southern Oklahoma, into parts of Texas again later this weekend. So please stay weather aware. And thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.